Welcome back. Let's practice strong English together.
Hello, and welcome back to the Strong English Podcast. I'm your host, Erica. We're so happy you are listening today. We are here to help you make your English sound more natural and strong.
And I'm Daniel, your co-host. If you need English for work, travel, or just talking with friends, we are here to help you. Erica, are you ready to start?
Yes, thanks, Dan. I've been looking forward to today's topic. We're going to review important phrases you need for small talk.
Yes, small talk is a short, friendly conversation about simple topics. It's often what people do when they don't know each other very well.
That's right. It might seem unimportant, but small talk is a very necessary skill for making friends and connecting with people in social situations.
Especially at school. Whether you're in a new class, in the cafeteria, or joining a club, a little bit of small talk can make a big difference.
Exactly. Today we're going to give you the essential phrases to start conversations, respond to others, and feel more confident meeting new people at school.
We'll have guests call in with their questions, and we'll have our usual practice segments to help you master these skills. So, let's get started.
Okay, Dan, let's set the scene. Imagine it's the first day of a new class. You walk in, and you don't know anyone. What's the first thing you feel?
A little nervous, for sure. Everyone feels that way, I think. You're looking for a place to sit and trying to look friendly, but not too eager.
That's a perfect description, and that's where our first phrase comes in. You see an empty chair next to someone. The easiest, most polite thing to say is, "Hi, is this seat taken?"
So simple, but so effective. Most of the time, the person will say, "No, go ahead," and that's your opening. You can smile, sit down, and introduce yourself. "Thanks. I'm Daniel, by the way."
Exactly. And the other person will likely tell you their name. Now you've made a connection. From there, you can ask a question about the class. Something like, "Have you taken a class with this professor before?"
That's a great open-ended question. It requires more than a yes or no answer. They might say, "No, I haven't, but I heard he's a tough grader." And now you have a real conversation starting.
Let's talk about the opposite. A closed-ended question is one that can be answered with just yes or no. For example, is this chemistry 101? The person says yes, and the conversation could just stop there.
Right. It's not a bad way to start, but you have to be ready with a follow-up question. For example, is this chemistry 101? Yes. Great. I'm a bit nervous about all the lab work. How about you?
That's a fantastic way to turn a closed question into a conversation. You're sharing something about yourself and inviting them to share too. It shows you're interested in connecting, not just getting information.
Another great setting for small talk is the library or a coffee shop on campus. You might see someone from your class. You can go up and say, "Hi, you're in my history class, right? I'm Daniel."
I love that one. It's friendly and establishes a shared context immediately. The other person feels more comfortable because you're not a complete stranger. From there, you could ask, "What did you think of the reading assignment? I found it really interesting."
These phrases are all about breaking the ice politely. They're not complicated, but they open the door for friendship.
Daniel, we have a first-time caller on the line. The computer says it's Carl. Hello, Carl. Welcome to the Strong English Podcast.
Hello, Eric and Dan. I just found your show on the advice of a friend.
That's great, Carl. Welcome to the show. What question do you have for us today?
Hi, I'm starting at a new college this year and I'm a bit shy. I like your ideas for starting a conversation, but what happens if the other person doesn't seem interested? How do I end a conversation without it being awkward?
Carl, that is an excellent question and something many people worry about, not just language learners. It's a key part of small talk to know when to politely exit.
Absolutely. The first thing is, don't take it personally. The other person might be shy, having a bad day, or rushing to their next class. It's usually not about you.
That's so true. So let's say you ask, "What did you think of the lecture?" And they just say it was okay, and then look at their phone. That's a pretty clear signal.
Right. At that point, you don't need to try another question. You can use a simple closing phrase. Something like, "Well, it was nice to meet you. See you in class." Works perfectly.
Oh, that sounds easy enough. Nice to meet you. See you in class.
Exactly. It's polite, friendly, and closes the conversation with no awkwardness. Another good one is, all right, well, I'd better get ready for the class to start. Catch you later.
Catch you later is a very friendly, informal way to say goodbye. It signals that you might talk to them again, which keeps things positive.
That's very helpful. So I don't need to feel like I failed if the conversation is very short.
Not at all, Carl. A successful small talk interaction can be just 30 seconds long. The goal was just to make a polite connection. You've done that. That's a win.
You're just planting seeds. Some will grow, some won't. Just keep being brave enough to say hello. Thanks so much for that question, Carl.
Thank you. I feel much better about it now.
That was a great call from Carl. Knowing how to exit a conversation is just as important as knowing how to start one.
Totally agree. Now let's talk about what to do when the small talk is going well. How do you keep the conversation moving?
My favorite technique is to ask follow-up questions based on what the other person says. It shows you're actually listening. For example, if you ask, "What's your major?" and they say, "I'm studying engineering,"
Don't just say, oh, cool, and stop. Ask something more. A great follow-up is, oh, that's interesting. What made you choose engineering?
yes, or "Wow, that sounds challenging. What kind of engineering are you focused on?" These questions invite the person to share more about their passions and interests.
Another key part of this is sharing a little about yourself, too. A conversation is a two-way street. If they answer your question, you can add a little bit about yourself. For instance, that's cool, you're from California. I'm actually from Florida, so I'm still getting used to the cold weather here.
That's a perfect example. It gives them something to respond to. They might ask you about Florida, and the conversation continues naturally. It's a pattern of ask, answer, share.
I like that. Ask, answer, share. What about finding things in common? That's a great way to build a connection.
Definitely, you can listen for clues. If they mention they love hiking, and you do too, you can say, "Oh, me too. Have you found any good trails around here?"
Boom! Instant connection. Now, you're not just talking about school, you're sharing a common interest. This is how friendships start. You could even suggest going for a hike sometime if the conversation is going really well.
A simple phrase for that could be, "Well, hey, a few of my friends and I are checking out a trail next weekend. You should join us if you're free."
That's a great, low-pressure invitation. It's not a one-on-one thing, so it feels very casual and easy for the other person to say yes to. The key is to keep the conversation balanced, show you're listening, and find that common ground. Hey, Erica, another caller. This time, we talked to Sophie.
Hello, Sophie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Erica and Dan. Thank you for having me. I love your show.
We're glad to have you, Sophie. What's on your mind today?
My question is about compliments. I want to be friendly, and I think giving a compliment is a good way to start a conversation. But I'm worried about saying the wrong thing or sounding strange.
Sophie, what a thoughtful question. You're right. A well-placed compliment can be a wonderful icebreaker. The key is to keep it simple and focused on something appropriate for a school setting.
That's right. It's best to avoid commenting on someone's physical appearance. Instead, focus on things like their accessories, their contribution in class, or their skills.
For example, you could say, "Hey, that's a really cool backpack," or "I love your sneakers." These are safe, friendly, and show you noticed something you genuinely like.
Okay, so complimenting an item is better. What about something they did?
Excellent idea. After a class presentation, you could say, wow, your presentation was great. You made a difficult topic really easy to understand.
That is a fantastic compliment because it's specific and sincere. The other person will feel proud, and it opens the door for them to say thanks. I was really nervous about the data section, and you can continue the conversation from there.
What about the response? If someone compliments me, sometimes I just feel shy and don't know what to say.
The simplest and best response is always, thank you or thanks so much. You can add a little bit of information if you want. If they say, I like your t-shirt, you can say, thanks so much, I got it at a concert last year.
Exactly. Just a smile and a thank you is perfectly enough. The most important thing is to be sincere when you give a compliment and gracious when you receive one. That's a great topic, Sophie. Thank you for calling.
This was so helpful. Thank you both.
Okay, Erica. Now it's time for our quick quiz section. Are you ready?
I'm always ready for a quiz, Dan. This is great practice for our listeners, too. You can try to answer at home before I do.
All right, let's go. Scenario 1. You're in the cafeteria line. You see someone wearing a sweatshirt from a university you've heard of. What could you say?
I'd say, hey, I like your sweatshirt. Are you a fan of the team, or did you go to that university?
Excellent. A nice compliment followed by a question. Perfect. Okay, scenario 2. The professor just assigned a huge project. You turn to the person next to you. What do you say to start a conversation?
I'd probably say something like, wow, that project sounds like a lot of work. Have you started thinking about a topic yet?
Great one. It's relatable because you're both in the same situation. It immediately creates a bond. Okay, last one. You've been talking to a new acquaintance for a few minutes, and you need to leave for your next class. How do you politely end the conversation?
I would say, well, it was really great talking to you, but I have to run to my next class. Hopefully I'll see you around.
Perfect score, Erica. You've shown how to start, continue, and end a conversation. Great job, and great job to our listeners who played along.
Ready, Dan? Let's jump into Fix That Phrase, where we examine common learner mistakes and choose what to do.
Love this segment. It's so helpful to see where small changes can make a big difference. You go first.
All right. Imagine a student wants to ask another student what they are studying. They say, "What is your study?"
I can see why they would say that. It's a direct translation. A more natural way to ask would be, what's your major, or what are you studying?
Exactly. What's your major is the most common and natural phrase. Okay, your turn to give me one.
Okay. Someone wants to agree with another person's opinion about a boring class. They say, I am agree. The class is bored.
Two things to fix there. First, agree is a verb, so you don't need am. You just say, I agree. Second, the class itself is boring, not bored. So the full, correct sentence would be, I agree. The class is boring.
Perfectly corrected. Those little grammar points make a huge difference in how natural you sound.
Okay, everyone, it is time for our listener challenge. This is where we give you a small, real-world assignment to practice what you've learned.
Learning English isn't just about listening. It's about doing. This week, your challenge is to start one small talk conversation at school.
That's it. Just one. It can be short and simple. Your goal is just to try. You can start with a basic introduction. Let's practice it. Hi, my name is Erica.
Or you can use a question about your shared situation. For example, if you're waiting for class to start, you can turn to the person next to you and ask, have you taken a class with this professor before?
Another great one is to use a compliment. Try this one. Hey, I really like your notebook. Where did you get it?
Remember, the goal isn't to have a long conversation. The goal is to be brave and start. Take the challenge this week. We know you can do it.
Now let's move into our shadowing segment. This is where you practice your pronunciation by repeating after us. Listen closely and say what we say.
I'll start. Ready? Let's go. Is this seat taken? Is this seat taken? Is this seat taken?
My turn. What's your major? What's your major? What's your major?
What did you think of the lecture? What did you think of the lecture? What did you think of the lecture?
It was nice to meet you. It was nice to meet you. It was nice to meet you. We've covered so much great ground today, from starting a conversation to keeping it going, and even how to end it politely.
We talked about the power of simple questions like, is this seat taken? And how to ask better, open-ended questions to learn more about people.
Our guests, Carl and Sophie, brought up fantastic points about politely exiting a conversation and how to give a good compliment.
Remember the core ideas. Be curious, listen to the answers, and share a little about yourself. That ask, answer, share pattern is a great tool to remember.
And don't forget that it's okay if a conversation is short. The goal of small talk is simply to make a positive connection. It doesn't have to lead to a long friendship every time.
Through the quiz and the practice sessions, you've added some powerful and practical phrases to your English toolkit. Using them will help you build confidence and create a more positive social experience at school.
The biggest takeaway is that taking a small risk to say hello can have big rewards. Keep practicing and be brave. Time to say goodbye for now. Feel more confident that you're another step stronger in English.
Thanks for being here with us, and tell your friends about our show. Consider subscribing. It helps us bring you more content.
Stay confident, stay smiling, and we'll see you next time for the Strong English Podcast.